What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. And remember, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're Daniel and Jordan. What a week it's been.
You've been busy.
I've been very busy.
And down to Florida and back?
Florida and back. And you know, it's so weird because I was telling Whitney, the weather, it was 80 degrees. I show up in pants. That's all I packed was jeans.
Amazing right now.
And it was beautiful. Like in the morning times, it was like 65, that cool breeze.
How long till y'all move there?
It felt so good. Oh, I'm not moving there. The beach kind of stinks. You just smell fish all over the place. But, dude, it was beautiful. Met with Tanyalee Davis.
Yeah, you've got stories for me.
I got some stories for you and stories for you as well. So Tanyalee is she's a dwarf, okay, which is a little person. We're not going to say the M word because it is very offensive.
Well,
but
not on podcast.
But to Tanyalee, you could call her a midget. She will not care. She's like, I don't care. She's just got that mentality, you know. She's super cool and very inspiring, but extremely funny too. So first things first, I picked up a midget. I picked her up. I picked her up.
How much she weigh?
She's about.
I don't know. That's it.
So just to give you guys an a height picture, she's 3'3".
3'3". So that's as long as what?
3 feet 3 inches. Yeah, it was probably like, she probably comes up to my kneecap. Like, honestly.
That's crazy.
She's so small. And the type of dwarfism she has is where from her head to her torso, she's normal. Okay.
Right.
It's her limbs that are what's short on her. So everything's normal. Although she has a huge ass. Yeah. She's got a donk. Okay.
The only thing that matters.
And, but so before we even started, we're having this podcast. It's at a tall table, like at a bar or something, you know. And we have bar stools. And I'm kind of looking at her. She rolls in on the scooter, and I'm looking at the bar stool, and I'm like, so how are we going to do this? And she's like, so I take it you never picked up one of us before. I was like, no, not ever. So she gave me a how to pick up a dwarf 101 crash course.
Why don't you run me through that?
So what you do is safety's number one priority, because if she was to fall at that kind of height, her bone density and structure,
you're liable.
She would sue me or be dead. The worst. But what she does is she tells me, she's like, all right, I need you to pick me up with your forearms, not your hands, use your forearms, and get behind me, but don't get any ideas, is what she told me with a little wink. So I get behind her, she kind of like presses down on her arms, and I just literally lift her up like this.
Hand to hand?
Yeah, she's like...
Oh, her hands are on your forearms. She's using you as... Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And I just kind of whoop, because she's only like 80-something pounds.
Yeah.
And, 70 of that's in her ass. The rest is in her body. But I pick her up, and then I just sit her on the stool, and she was like, wee! and then I picked up a dwarf.
Is that when you first met her? Like,
no, that would be super awkward. You never picked up one of us before, have you? No, this was, so we had dinner the first day. This was like the day of the podcast. So day 2, I got to pick her up, which was, I was going down there wanting either her to sit in my lap or pick her up.
Moving pretty fast for Daniel.
So I crossed something off the bucket list. I mean, who can say they picked up a dwarf?
Not me.
I mean, not many people listening, I would imagine.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I feel special.
Bucket list, huh?
Hopefully it's not contagious.
Your new dream's going to be pick up a couple more, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to be like on dwarf.com or something. Be like, hey, can I pick you up, baby? But another funny thing, so I have this giant tote for all this equipment, okay?
Right.
It's heavy, and when I went to the airport, I have to pay like $100 extra because it's over the weight limit. And it was 87 pounds to be
87
exact.
pounds is how heavy your bag is?
Yes, 87 pounds. And
is it on rollers?
it's got 2 wheels.
Okay.
But I didn't get a rental car this time. And I made a mistake, okay? I made a mistake. I should have got a rental car. And I was in the hotel, and Tanyalee texts me or calls me or whatever the first day, and she's like, hey, I'm going to come scoop you up. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thought she was driving. No, she drove her scooter, a little 3-wheel scooter.
To pick you up?
To pick me up.
What, put you on the back of it?
No, she made me walk. She made me walk to dinner, okay? And
With that bag? You had to carry the bag everywhere?
The bag comes in next. So on the day of the podcast, I was like, hey, I think I should probably Uber to the chiropractor place, which is 2 minutes down the road. Right. It's not. She's like, oh no, we'll put it on the back of my scooter. And I'm like, hey, this thing's 80 something. You're gonna be riding a wheelie down the road. So, I end up Ubering there. And then on the way back, and she's like, I really, she's 53, so she's stuck in her ways.
Yeah.
And she's all about saving money, okay? Yeah. She's like, we're not getting you an Uber to go 2 minutes down the road. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, it's okay. She's like, put it on the back. She didn't have a luggage rack or a carrier or anything. She literally scoots up, and she's so short, she has to have a step stool at the bottom of the thing. Yeah. So to put her feet on, but she scoots way up. And I set this big luggage rack on the back of her scooter. I have a picture of it, and I will send it so you can post it up, okay? And she's like, you got to take a picture of this. You've never seen a midget packing some luggage on the back of her scooter. So we walk 4 miles down the road while I'm walking beside...
4 miles?
4 miles, yes. I'm walking beside her. Yeah, 4 mile walk. Maybe a 2-minute drive, right?
Right.
So 4 miles down the road, I'm walking a dwarf carrying a giant load of luggage on the back of her scooter. And oh my God.
Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah, Sarasota, Florida. I mean, it was so funny. And I walked everywhere. We went downtown Sarasota. Yeah. She took me to the post office. She had to send off a bunch of letters.
Yeah.
For she was signing her name on these pictures or whatever. She had me lick all her envelopes for her. She had me get her envelopes, lick them, and then stuff them. And then she goes in line, and I'm sitting here with all these envelopes. I'm thinking, well, maybe I should follow her back in line, So she used me and abused me that day.
Well.
And I walked, dude, when I got back, I felt like I had been beat with a bat. I probably walked over 50 miles while she rode.
Good.
At one point, I was like, hey, I'm going to need to hop on the back of this bitch. It was so funny, though. But
that's wild.
I lost every bit of, because, when I go out, I try to eat a little, eat some Reese's.
What do you mean? You go out, you eat a little bit, Reese's.
Yeah, if I go out, if I travel, I cheat on my diet.
Oh yeah.
So
it's a good excuse, right? Yeah, you're working.
Yeah, I'm working, and it's I got to eat something on the go quick, So I may have ate a couple packs of king size Reese's, because I love my peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah.
And I walked every bit of that off. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
That's good though. You weren't going to the gym anyways, right? So
no, I'm officially not soring my arms because I had to hold it while we were scooting down the road. And but yeah, man, it was a fun trip.
Well, I'm getting the gym nowadays.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm back.
How many days a week?
Lately, I've been going probably 5 days this past week.
Are you on the stair stepper?
No. I've got Kaney's got me on this. I'm running for 30 minutes.
Oh, y'all are going together.
Yeah,
that's good.
Whenever I can get her in there,
she's got your schedule. You're going to the gym, buddy.
I'm not going. What I'm doing. Yeah. And so I run 5 minutes, or walk 5 minutes, run 5 minutes, walk 5 minutes for 30 minutes on and off, and that's good to get your heart rate in that target zone. And apparently, you're supposed to do that for 150 minutes a week. So 30 minutes, 5 times 30 minutes, 5 times a week. Oh, dude, I feel great for the first time in my life. I feel
healthy.
I feel like I got.
What about your sleeping? How are you sleeping?
I sleep like a baby all the time.
Oh, okay.
I've already got that old man thing where you just pass out in a chair during a movie. The intro of the movie, as soon as they start talking, as soon as the music leaves from the intro, I'm like,
what was that movie about?
Yeah.
So what about energy-wise now, throughout the day?
I just feel like afterwards, I go and get my little pump on, you know? And then you know that feeling when you're looking in the mirror and you're like, my girl's going to love
You're
this.
Big AF.
I might cheat on my girl. All these girls might be looking at me.
Yeah, they're staring at my butt right now.
That confidence that it gives you, man. It's a power thing.
Yeah. Do you shower after? No.
Didn't think you were going to ask
that. I didn't come prepared for that one. Dude, showering. Yeah. So you need to try to shower at the gym.
At the gym?
At the gym after your workout in like a cool water. It feels so good, dude.
Oh, like an ice bath kind of thing? Or are you talking about like, just like a cold shower?
Yeah, cold shower. Not like to where it's like taking your breath, but like cool. It's just relaxing. And you just feel like you're ready to take on the world.
I do. Have you ever done like an ice bath in the morning? You know that's all popular, right?
Yes.
I bought the thing, but I never even used it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Because I was like, I can't even do a cold shower in the morning. I don't know why I have
So you bought the tub?
I mean, it's a cheap one off Amazon, but yeah.
Dude, we should do it.
It's still in the box. We should do it for the... We should. That's a good idea. But they say it's the closest thing to cocaine you can do naturally.
Wow.
I guess just the way
I'll have to put that to the test. No.
I'll let you know. Yeah. But I know several people who do it, which,
it's very popular.
You can't do the cold shower, but apparently it's supposed to just like the way it wakes you up is supposed to be just insane.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But I go to the gym in the afternoon, so I don't want to necessarily be like, woo, at like 6 p.m.
Yeah, I'm ready to go again. Give me 24 more hours, baby. Yeah, that would be crazy.
What do I got to do next?
Another 10 miles? Okay. That's funny. Well, what else? What else you, Katie, got going on?
Well, just this week's been an organization week, trying to get all my to-do list of the things I want to do, right? You were working on this podcast.
Yep.
I made a couple, got my whiteboard up. I've got my boxes to check things off.
That's the way to do it.
So I can see my accomplishments as they happen. And I've got too many boxes to check, but I'm excited to check them, to be honest.
I was always told, my old boss said, he always asked us, how do you eat an elephant? Talking about looking at the big picture of things, and it's one bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
Check it off one thing at a time, don't look at the whole thing. Look at list by list and go down there and, conquer your goals.
And that's part of the thing is that where we're saying, like, you get started and after a year, you look back and you see you did a lot. So, that's the whole idea. One day at a time, right?
Do you have any checks right now currently? Any wins on your board?
Yeah, I did that yesterday. I called you to figure out how to make the intros stuff, or not intros, the shorts for this. So
that's good, man.
Yeah, that's the only one. But
how do you feel as you're marking through that stuff?
Oh, I'm calling Kanye in the room. All right, I'm trying to get laid out of it.
Yeah, my man. I try to call Whitney in here to show her some stuff. She's like, Daniel, I know nothing about this. And I'm like, but it looks good though, right?
Yeah, that's the point. You don't know anything about it, right? I figured it out.
Yeah, that's so funny. I love it. So we usually come into these with a word of the week,
I've been giving it some thoughts.
Yeah, what is...
I think this week, just to start off this podcast in the right way, I think I want to talk about achievable. I want to combat hopelessness. I think it's important for us to know that things are achievable.
Yeah.
And that your goals are achievable. There are people out there who do something similar typically. And that the fact that those people have done that shows that it is possible. That your dreams are possible. There's no laying around feeling hopeless about it. I understand that feeling, and I've felt that way about many of my dreams. And it's not that I've achieved my dreams right now, but I feel like I am achieving a path to my dreams. And I think that it's important for people to just know that things are achievable for what you want to do. It's not just, people aren't just getting lucky doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
They are doing the work. They might be getting lucky also, but they're doing the work to achieve those things. And it's important to know that that's possible for you as well, I think.
Yeah. And I think too, making those achievable goals reachable, that way you kind of get empowered, I guess, if that's the right word.
A bite at a time.
Yeah.
A whiteboard with checkmark boxes. All those
achievable. And making those things reachable for you. That way, when you do win, you feel good about it. And it motivates you to go to that next level of whatever goals you're trying to reach.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Knowing that it's possible, just that piece alone, and just focus on knowing that it is possible to reach those things and that it's a reality. It's not just some made up dream world. It's not Disney princess. It's not all that these things do happen in the real world and that they are possible for you as well.
Yeah. So what made you pick that word this week?
I think for me, a lot of my life, I've just felt a lot of like, so-and-so got they're lucky that they have that situation, and that's how that they got popular, or whatever those things were that I was using.
He or she knew the right person to talk to or go to. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I was just making up excuses in my own mind of why they have something I don't. And the ultimate reality is I'll never have what they have because their situation is completely different than mine, right? The whole life is different than mine. I can make my own reality,
right?
Something, my own thing, and achieve something that you can be the top guy at your work. You can be that person. You don't have to be the bottom worker. You don't have to be just wherever you are and settle, unless that's what you want. 100% do that if that's what you want. But if you're wanting to be a person who's humble, a person who's all these things, those things are achievable, and it's by doing it to be that person. And I think it's important to know that it's possible, or else you feel hopeless if you don't feel like you could ever achieve those things.
Yeah, and don't judge yourself against that other person too, you know what I mean? Because we're all built different. If we were all the same, like you were saying, the world would be boring, or it would be really cool. I really don't know. It just depends on what kind of person we are.
If they were all me, maybe.
It would be one sexy world. But, we're all built different, so you can't judge your goals or your success off of your neighbor, you know what I mean? Because it's just not
really
doable.
hard not to do that. I wonder, because like with my friend group, we've all been very just like, a lot of times like we're better than other people, and like the reason why things haven't worked out is because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people feel like that in the world. They feel like they're special, but the world is cruel, and that's why I don't have the things that I want. And the reality is that we're all kind of special in their own ways, and we all have strengths and weaknesses. And it's important to know that you have weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
And that your weakness might be that you're not in the right frame of mind or something, and that you're trapped in some type of hopelessness or something.
What is your weakness? Like you ever go to an interview and someone's like, give me some strengths and some weaknesses, like what is a weakness that you're, be vulnerable right now and tell me what a weakness that you have is.
So one of the things that I worked on was like confrontation. I'm horrific with it. I will suffer the end of time and just not confront something, just to be easygoing, just to make things a little bit easier for everyone. That's how I kind of I felt like what's the word?
Like I know what you're trying to say. You're just trying to make everybody, like, you're the peaceful guy. You're
I want to make the world more peaceful, right? So I feel like it's like a sacrifice I can make by like suffering through this to make it more peaceful, right? And so I think that I started working on just being able to, it's okay to tell people when something is wrong in a nice way, that there is a middle ground there. I don't have to be a total dick to be confrontational. I can say like, hey, I don't think that that's the right way to do it. And if they push back, I can also, then we can have a conversation about what is the right thing. Yeah. And then I've found that at first, people weren't very happy that I was more confrontational in that way, but I have a stronger relationship with those people nowadays than I did before, because they know that I'm willing to tell them my opinion, and I'm able to, if they push back and they give me good reasons, to go their way with it and to see their point of view. Yeah, and so that was a really hard one for me, was being able to allow myself to be confrontational and to stand up for my place in the world. Right. And that I do have value in my opinions of things, and that, confidence, really. Yeah, and that takes a lot to stand up kind of for yourself, for what you believe. I mean, it takes a strong person, because I'm that way too. I'm more of like, hey, walk all over me, because at the end of the day, I really don't care, Yeah. I go with the flow. That is kind of how it is, and then you kind of just make a habit of that, I guess. But it is important. It's just not a healthier way. To have more meaningful relationships, I think that you need to have some confrontation. Caney needs to be able to tell me when I'm not doing things that aren't helpful to the relationship or healthy or something like that. And I need to be able to tell her that. And both of us to disagree, and maybe there's a night we fight, but for us both to see each other's sides and then find that healthy middle ground. Otherwise, you'll find relationships where, either someone's too controlling and the other person just kind of puts up with it and they feel miserable until it all explodes or something like that. And, and that's not just for your relationships. This is for like work friends or just your normal friends, to hold each other accountable, but also have some forgiveness for people. You have to understand people are imperfect, and that, when you're confrontational, it doesn't mean that person needs to change to what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're just stating your opinion of what you think should happen.
And everybody's got one, so it's okay. Well, if you do ever get in a fight, tip, hit him in the back of the head, because the bruise will be covered by the hair. Unless she's going through chemo and she's bald, okay, then you're screwed.
Did you ever have a confrontation? But yeah.
But something that I've worked on, and that I've kind of overcame is getting feedback from people in the workplace. I was always so defensive when someone was like, hey, someone over me was like, hey, you don't need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. And then I throw up this big wall, and I'm just so defensive, and I push back, and I'm like, well, I'll just show them, yada, yada, yada. Over the years, I've been so susceptible. Is that a word?
I know what you mean.
I can now receive the feedback and put it to good use. And then at the end of the day, it's like, all this person's trying to do is help me, become a better me, become a better person, become a better manager, and
did that make you feel embarrassed after you would do that sometimes?
After I would accept the feedback, or
like back in the day when you would fight the feedback, like would you have a moment like after like maybe when you first get it right, don't you have that like it's like an emotional thing that flares up in you, and then you react, right? And it's not like thought out really, it's a reaction to that feeling. I have that same thing you're talking about with criticism, that I snap back immediately and I try to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I would feel embarrassed later because it's just not a healthy way to have
unfortunately, I was a little shit. So I probably didn't care in the moment, to be honest with you. And I was just so like
hard-headed
and just, I'm the shit at what I did, so I thought I was the best. And you have to be knocked down a little bit to, become humble in that situation, because I wasn't the best. And growing up and living life a little bit more and going through certain experiences, you realize that. And now I look back and yes, it was stupid of me and it's very embarrassing. Yeah. But at the time, even a week or a month later, I was right. Yeah. You know what I mean? But now, 33 years old, looking back, I'm like, man, I wish I could go back and tell this person how big of a little shit I was.
Yeah. Well, not everything's black and white.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you learn as you get older is that there, in the case between y'all two, it was never you were right, they were wrong, and who's right and who's wrong. Well,
exactly.
We're not trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong.
And 9 times out of 10, my mom was my boss. So it makes it 10 times worse, right?
Like, if that's the case,
yeah.
I've got some problems too, I think.
But, and then also too, my owner, he would come in, but I'm so open to feedback. Like, I want the feedback now. Like, I thrive off the feedback. And that's something I need to reassure me that, am I doing good? Mm-hmm. Or do I need to improve something to be a little bit better?
And it's important to keep the confidence that you had, right? Yeah. The confidence probably would help you or made you become maybe a little too egotistical over it. But the confidence needs to stay there because you need to know when you're doing right. And other people who aren't doing what you're doing, doesn't mean that they know exactly what they're talking about, but it does mean it's helpful feedback to twist things to make it more translatable, especially when it comes to like podcasting or something like that, right? You want to make sure it's palatable to people.
And then what I'm working on, so I've overcome that. And what I'm working on is just trying to find a healthy balance of work and me time. But in that me time is family time, wife time, kid time, finding that healthy balance because like I was telling you on maybe a last episode or two, working hard doesn't bother me.
Right.
I because I'm doing what I love, right? And I can grind, I can lose sleep, I can sleep 3 hours and be completely fine. But the people around me, my parents, my wife, my kids, it it can affect them, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to take their thoughts into consideration and understand I'm not the only one here. You know, I got a family, and I got to do a little bit better about finding that healthy balance, that work relationship, whether that's with my wife, the kids, the cat. You know, I got to find that healthy balance.
Yeah, and it's really tough at our age because we're trying to prepare for the future, and if you're trying to build something to secure the future for your family,
exactly,
that's also important, and that's a sacrifice that sometimes it's really hard to balance because some people dive full head in, and it's just they abandon their relationships with people, and that's a sad way to live. And not have your people you care about closest. The
best way I feel like to handle that situation is constant communication, right? Between you and your spouse, or you and the kids. Like, hey, look, I love you, but you know, Daddy's got this going on to make our life a lot better. Or, hey, honey, I know I'm busy. You know, you still got to understand to set time aside, but it works both ways. I got to understand that balance. And she's got to understand that balance, like he's doing this for us. You know what I mean? So kind of bounces off what you were saying.
Yeah. And what you're saying, like, it's important to let the people around you know that you are thinking of them. Even though you're working really hard, it is important to, in those moments, know, like, when you are around, to be present and to at least have a moment where you go up and you have an interaction with them that's, I love you, I care about you. All those, it is important to let people around you know those things.
A little slap on the baby.
Yeah. And I think it's important for, even if it's just for a short amount of time, right? If your mind is constantly on your projects, that is okay, because that's kind of how you just come up. That's how you're creative. But occasionally to snap out of it and to look around, because I know, like, Kanie, with like mine and my creative projects, sometimes she definitely feels like I don't care about cleaning the house to help her out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily what's going on. It's that my mind is elsewhere and I'm an idiot. So.
Yeah, and I'm a one-track mind when it comes to that.
Both of us have
I'm
that.
zoned in on what I'm doing because I'm doing what I love, and I want to make it the best possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and this means a lot to us.
Exactly.
And not that family doesn't, and not that all those things don't, but you gotta look at how we lived our lives up to this point. Also, we were people up until we met y'all, and that we are not. This is now trying to get to us. Yeah, not taking responsibility at all. But that is I completely understand that their side of it too. That it is. You have to show the people around you that you care, and that is very important by doing things for them as well. Yeah, work for them.
So what is your plan this week? Like, what is your wins? What do you want to accomplish? What are some of those boxes you want to get checked off?
Well, I'm doing the music thing in this podcast, and so I'm trying to, which that is right, collaborative. So I am just open to whatever the people in those projects are doing, to just do it with them however they want. And so I got to schedule some time to edit this, right? Which I've been excited to have work that is towards something that, like, I just have confidence in, something that I believe in. And like, I haven't had, and to like know what the work is, and that it is like work, like editing footage is not creative time, it's work time.
Right.
And so
the filming aspect of it is the creative
this
time.
Part's awesome.
Yeah, this part's, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's the back end stuff that sucks.
That's the work.
Takes a long time.
Yeah, that's 100% the work. And I'm excited to have it for the first time, to have like work. And I know like that's probably going to go away at some point, but right now it's awesome feeling. And so I've got time scheduled today to finish up, trying to knocking out all that, making shorts and all that. And then, however,
you're creating wins for yourself though. Like, you're setting yourself up for victory at that point, because, you know, you're having fun here, but then you're creating that work for you to do. You're creating those accomplishments. You know, you're going to do it, but it's work, you know what I mean? But you're setting yourself up for success at that point.
I think that right now, because that work is fun for me, that is a
you enjoy
strong passion. Right? That's talking about working towards your passions. And I never felt that cleaning the toilets at Dillard's.
Yeah, I mean, I never felt that, flipping burgers at Wendy's either. It's like
exactly,
you're doing what you have to do to get by at that moment. Like, I liked my job and I liked people, but
right.
Did I really want to be a manager at Wendy's for the rest of my life?
Yeah. Well, and mine's like, do I really want to be helping corporate America?
Yeah, you're too talented for that. Like, you're too talented musically. You got some good looks too.
Well, the haircut's helping.
Yeah,
I'm keeping the mustache. I'm sorry. I don't give a.
Hey, you don't have to apologize to me. As long as I get to touch it. Run
off camera.
Do you put beard oil on it?
Oh no.
Oh, you should do that. You got to water that.
Help. Someone told me I need to dye it black or something.
No, don't don't do that.
Maybe one episode.
Because your hair's not black. It's more like an auburn color. You're gonna look like
all right, well, the darker brown. Okay.
Just do the Just for Men. That way, it's like not like super permanent. That way you can wash it out.
Yeah.
But that would look cool to see one time on the show. Look like Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. Very, what's it, The Simpsons? Howdy Doody.
Oh, yeah. The neighbor.
The neighbor, yeah.
With the big mustache.
Yeah,
oh, my God. That's so funny.
But so like this week, I'm going to do the editing. I've got that planned out. Music, whenever we get a chance. One of the guys got strep and we're doing vocals, so that's just don't go hand in hand. And then I'm just kind of doing this with like my little hobbies, right? I've got my own personal music. I've got some songs done that they don't sound great. They're poorly recorded. I'm always like, I'll go back and re-record them, which I'm not. So I'm just going to finish those off. And I'm going to release those to Spotify. I'm just going to try to cross some T's, dot some I's, and release things. That way I can move forward with my new projects and accept that that's what the artist I was at that time. Because in the future, if anyone, I'll get better.
Yeah.
And then it'll be forgivable that I wasn't very good at this time.
I mean, look at Blink's first album.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Look at any artist's first album. Yeah. And it's probably hard to find because artists probably all go through that. I can't release my first stuff because it's not good enough.
Yeah.
And the stuff they do release is probably also not very good.
I think you're doing it right, though. Getting it done, dotting your I's, crossing your T's, and moving on to that next thing. That way you're moving forward in life and you're just not like kind of stuck. And,
With art, it's like this weird thing where there is like this magic that you're capturing in a bottle that once you've got it, you can't like recreate it. You can't go back and mold it too much. It's got to happen in that moment and have that like flow of work. Once you interrupt that flow and you try to hop back into that wave,
that makes sense.
It just doesn't really work. It loses its cohesiveness and you can feel it it's like a gut feeling.
And I feel like you would also like start picking out other little stuff and then you're like, oh, well, I need to fix this too. And then this, and then you're just rewriting the whole song at
God
that
forbid
point.
You're a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Because you're screwed. But if you think of it as just like a personal therapy, this is going to be a practice I'm doing to help me finish things. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things I found on YouTube was these guys talking about, honestly, the only thing you really need to do right now probably is just to finish your projects and to keep moving forward. Because if you just sit around and you're just going to become hopeless, right? You're never going to find... How are you going to achieve your dreams if your song's sitting in your on your computer? Yeah, no one's hearing it.
Mine's sitting there and it's
right. How can you ever?
I play it for people when they come over, like, "Hey, check this out," and they're like, "You should post it." I'm like,
to be fair, it's kind of nice to have that. Yeah, I mean, I've got my library's massive with all the songs I never released.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that finishing things is that alone. I mean, we could do a word of the week on finish. Yeah, right, and maybe we will in the future. But yeah, that's been important for me. So I'm going to try to finish up a couple little songs and release those to my St. J. And my St. J is just going to become this collection of my music. Yeah. And joke music. These songs are actually for Kanie. They're 2 songs I had written that one's about when I die. She can listen to it.
Oh, wow. You can't listen to it yet. You got to wait. Whenever that happens.
Week, probably. I won't promote it, so just go to my Instagram if you're really
interested. Is it a funny death song?
No.
Oh, okay. A sad death song.
No, it's supposed to be like, it's about like when I go.
Gotcha.
And it's like a song to kind of give her a little peace of mind that it's okay to move on with your life.
Don't post that one yet. Your mom will be like, oh, what's he going through?
Yeah, at the very end of the song.
Oh my God. Well, this week I don't. Trying to think what I got going on. I just reaching out, doing some guerrilla marketing, trying to find some people.
Guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. What's that mean?
So just mass email, mass message.
How do you get the emails to send? Like, are you just like going through social media and finding who you like and copy and paste in their emails?
Yeah. Well, I need to come up with a template. I need to write a template because that creates a little bit easier workflow, right?
100%, dude. Templates. I'm all in on the template.
You know, I told Whitney to do that the other day when I should be doing that. Like, I'm so good at teaching people. Like, I know it makes sense, but it's me doing it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm hypocritical at that. Like, I told her, I'm like, hey, you need to, why are you sending a message to every person? Make a template. I'm doing the same damn thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I need to do that this week. I need to create a template that invites people to the podcast. But this week I'm going to just continue to do what I'm doing and go after people that, you know, are mid-tier or lower and just use that platform to help others and get exposure for them, maybe introduce their fan base to our fan base, and hopefully something happens. Because, I mean, that's what happened with Tanyalee. It's what's happening with Ryan Miller on the 10th, and, you know, just trying to get as many interesting people on there that I can. I feel like it's a good idea. You
are going to do a great job building a community of people. You're good at that. I mean, that's your old jobs.
Yeah.
It's being a leader in those ways. Right. And I think that you come from such a good place that you actually do want to help people and you do want to get to know them. Like the fact that you have dinner with those people before you have the podcast, I love that about you, because I think it would be rub people the wrong way if you were. I mean, I'm sure some people wouldn't
just
care.
There for strictly
if you just
business.
Showed, and you're just getting to know on the podcast, and it's just kind of like, we're getting an episode out. But you're showing up, you're doing something that's not on camera to get to know someone, to share a moment with them, to share a time of the day out of your, you're all trying to make business, but at the end of the day, we do want to have a community of people that know each other.
Exactly.
You need to know each other, and I think that's awesome.
We went to dinner. I went to her house. Oh, another funny story. Her husband is like a squirrel whisperer, okay? So we're sitting there. He's got a
professional job.
A professional job, a 25-pound bag of peanuts, and all he does is shake it, and it's a shelled peanut. He'll shake it, and then he'll hear something running, and he'll be like, oh, Charlie's coming. Charlie.
They own squirrels?
No, these are wild squirrels, dude. 100% wild. And he shakes his peanut. He'll hear, I guess the way Charlie walks, he'll be like, oh, Charlie's coming. Charlie will crawl up his leg.
Outside,
and he will hand Charlie the peanut. I witnessed it with my own eyes. Hand Charlie the peanut. Charlie takes it with his hands, puts it in his mouth, goes down his leg, and jumps off the porch. I mean, he had probably 6 squirrels do that while I was there. You know, it was the craziest thing.
How do you learn to do that? I mean, you have to be one of those children that's just trying to talk to animals.
He says he can talk to squirrels. I mean, and after seeing those squirrels crawl up his leg and take that peanut, I believe it. I mean, I seen it firsthand.
Proof's in the pudding.
You know, they have an Amazon wish list, and on that wish list is bags of peanuts because he feeds the squirrels peanuts. It's crazy. And then, so after feeding the squirrels, we did the podcast, and then after the podcast, we go downtown Sarasota. We got some lunch on the beach under the little tiki hut, had a little drink, and she got stuck in the sand in her scooter. I had to end up pushing her. And, the beach is packed. It's a nice day. And I'm pushing a dwarf on a scooter through the sand.
You look like you're on a date, probably.
Probably. Or she's my mom. And I walked everywhere. Like I said, dude, I was so sore. But, I try to get to know them because they're all people at the end of the day. And they have feelings. And it's crazy because it's a celebrity, right? And you think that no one's going through anything until you meet them, and you're just like, holy cow. You're like...
Or you think that they're so successful that, like, all the issues you have, they don't have.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
It's not the case. I mean, her husband is in terrible health. He needs a double rotator cuff surgery. they're struggling, and it's just it's crazy. But the plus thing is she has so much good things going for her right now, and if she don't, the bus is parked right outside her house is what I'm trying to say, and it's time to get on it and take the bull by the horns. I mean, she's got a lot going for her. I'm super excited to see what she's got ahead of her. She's going on tour over in the UK. It's her first tour in the UK.
That sounds so fun.
She's going to Ireland, Scotland, Wales, all these places.
Is your husband going with her?
He's not. He can't do a lot of traveling now. He did back then when they would go to Dubai and Saudi Arabia, stuff like that. I mean, they've been everywhere, dude. And you know, I'm so glad that things are picking back up for her, and I'm extremely glad that you know she was able to do the podcast and you know, we're a comedy page, right? So. Right. Maybe my fans will enjoy some of her comedy. She's hysterical.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we could have that platform to, hey, come on over here. Show them what you got, because these are great people that I got behind me. And they'll watch it and go to one of your shows. You know, you never know.
Yeah. It's great collaborating. And it's great that like you have a group of people that you trust and like that you have the confidence that anyone who comes in, the person will feel comfortable to operate with you.
I feel like,
it's awesome that you're doing it, and I think it's got a lot of potential.
I appreciate it. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Anyways, all right. What else, man?
Before when this fails, we'll have another podcast. I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah, we'll know at the end. The end game, we'll really find out. Well, guys, I think that's all we got for you today. Just remember to subscribe to the channel and give this video a big old thumbs up. And remember to turn on all bell notifications, because if you don't, you'll never know when me or Jordan make some new videos.
Yeah. We haven't worked on an outro at all.
Nope. But just remember, my name's Daniel.
And my name's Jordan.
And we're Daniel and Jordan. We'll see you next time.
Outro.